Welcome to the latest installment of Chord by Chord, the series designed to build your understanding of harmony and the fretboard. In a previous lesson, we went over suspended chords, and in this lesson, we'll be revisiting them. First, we'll be going over sus4 chords. A sus4 chord is where you take the notes from a major triad, the root, the third, and the fifth, and you replace the third with the fourth. Example 1 shows us the notes in an A major triad: A, C sharp, and E. Example 2 shows us the notes in an A sus4 chord: A, D, and E. Example 3a shows us how to get to an A sus4 chord from an A major chord using open chords. Example 3b shows us how to get to an A sus4 chord from an A major chord using bar chords. Next, we'll be talking about 7 sus4 chords. A 7 sus4 chord is where you take the major triad modified to show the first, the fourth, and the fifth, and you simply add a flatted seventh on the top of the chord. So essentially, it's a dominant seventh chord where the third is replaced with the fourth. Example 4 shows us the notes in an A7 chord: A, C sharp, E, and G. Example 5 shows us the notes in an A7 sus4 chord: A, D, E, and G. Example 6a shows us how to get to an A7 sus4 chord from an A7 chord using open chords. Example 6b shows us how to get to an A7 sus4 chord from an A7 chord using bar chords. Now we're going to repeat the same process with E and E sus4 chords and E7 and E7 sus4 chords. Example 7a shows us how to get to an E sus4 chord from an E major chord using open chords. Example 7b shows us how to get to an E sus4 chord from an E major chord using bar chords. Now, example 8a shows us how to get to an E7 sus4 chord from an E7 chord using open chords. Example 8b shows us how to get to an E7 sus4 chord from an E7 chord using bar chords. Moving on to F, example 9a shows us how to get from F to F sus4 using a bar chord in first position. Example 9b shows us how to get from F to F sus4 using a bar chord in 8th position. Example 10a shows us how to get to F7 sus4 from F7 using bar chords in first position. And lastly, example 10b shows us how to get to F7 sus4 from F7 using bar chords in 8th position. Note that all of the bar chords used in these examples are known as movable shapes, which means you can play them anywhere on the fretboard and get the desired chord. For example, the E sus4 chord from example 8b, if it's moved up one fret, it becomes F sus4. You should now know a variety of ways to get to A sus4 chords, E sus4 chords, and F sus4 chords, as well as A7 sus4 chords, E7 sus4 chords, and F7 sus4 chords. One song that happens to make use of an A7 sus4 chord is the ever overplayed Wonderwall by Oasis. Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. Thanks for watching. In the next lesson, we'll be revisiting sus2 chords.